What could be more fun?
Oh no, your video is buffering. There we go.
No, it's not. What are you talking about? It's not
I was
buffering.
looking
It was
at-
just quiet.
Oh no, I
Anyways.
was looking at Twitch.
Okay.
I have Twitch on the side just to make sure that everything's going okay.
Well, I guess spoiler alert. Guess who's here? Because you were talking this whole time. To be fair, it's not a spoiler because it's in the title.
It's in the title.
But it doesn't
My
matter. Sarah, did you send it to us?
Sarah's gone.
She's gone. That's okay.
Already? Stuffed already?
She's bouncing up and down, but she's not speaking.
Can you not hear me?
There you are. Oh,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
she went high pitched and I could not hear her.
I mean, that's typical for
Okay.
her. Anyways.
Hello?
Hi, okay, calm down. Why does this
I
always
sent
have
it to you
happen?
on Instagram.
Anyways, hello. Welcome to
Hello.
this, where they don't know anything. But for small talk, Sarah's gonna ask us a question.
Okay. This came up, this reminded me because we were playing Forewarned last night and the worm reminded me of it.
Okay.
Do you remember a movie? Honestly, this could be safe for a different podcast episode, but I'm gonna mention it anyways. It was, oh gosh, it was a movie about worms.
And I
About
think
eating worms.
I think, wait, eating worms or worms that eat you?
No, eating worms.
I feel like I vaguely remember this.
Like,
Let me see if I can
somebody
find it.
ate a worm in the movie?
The entire movie was about different ways to eat worms.
It was like a
What
Nickelodeon
the
movie or
fuck?
something.
Movie about eating worms.
I
Hold on.
vaguely remember. I never saw it, but I remember seeing like
Are you
trailers
talking
for it
about
and
how
stuff.
to eat fried
How
worms?
to eat? Yes.
Oh my god.
I mean, is that not just what the movie's about? Is there like some deeper subplot or something?
I don't remember this movie whatsoever, but it might be that I just blocked it from my memory.
Do they
I
just eat worms?
Remember, they eat worms in a variety of ways, and I don't know why. And this is weird that this is the one part that really sticks out to me. But at the end, they were tied or whatever, and they both lost. The people that he was up against, and so part of the
Up
bet.
against.
I don't know. It was like there was like the nerd kid, and then there was the bully, I guess. And I don't remember exactly why, but I remember that for the ending, they had to stick worm down their pants and walk through school. And there was a scene where a worm fell through one of their pant holes, and they had to cover it up. I don't know why, but that scene in particular haunts me.
Is it because you're scared of having worms in your pants?
I don't think so.
It's not
I don't-
Tremors.
It says why to watch, inspiring, childlike, and hilarious.
I wouldn't say it's inspiring.
It's also rated 5 out of 10 stars.
It's about worms and eating them.
No, it's apparently, I'm like looking at the plot right now just to like see what the hell's going on. Like the kids being bullied and how they kind of fight back.
Do they?
By eating worms.
By eating worms?
By
Is that the
eating worms.
rebellious thing?
While the boys cook the first worm, Le Big Porker.
What?
That's what it's in the park.
Okay. Wait, the worm is called that?
Yeah, the worm is called Le Big Porker. They're
Okay.
eating Le Big Porker. What the hell? No, not Tremors. I was thinking Tremors.
So what
Digital.
I'm
Do you
hearing
remember
is,
this movie, Digital? Or Andrew? I don't know what I'm calling you.
I'll say digital. I just like calling people by their username.
He's my brother. I'm allowed to call him whatever I
You can
want,
call
right?
him whatever you want, yeah.
not on stream.
Dude.
Not anything,
I
please.
look like a child.
I know,
Yeah.
that was the point.
She looks so tiny.
I'm a child with my parents.
It's either you were doing that or you were gonna be floating in the air like witchcraft.
Great for witchcraft.
But I couldn't make it animated.
I hold Faye like little baby.
I am, baby.
No, she would attack you. She would like maul your face off. Okay.
She would bite and I would bite back.
Also, have you guys
Kinky.
ever watched Tremors? Because
No.
Tremors is a great movie. Oh
I don't
my
even
god,
know what
it's
Tremors
great.
is about.
There's like
You're
8
gonna-
movies of them. Only watch the first one.
Okay.
Isn't it about the worms in the sand or something like that?
Yeah, it's about that. It's so stupid.
that
It's
was
beyond
Dune.
stupid. No.
But it is Dune. There's
It
worms
is,
in the
but
sand.
there are worms in the sand, but this is different. This is a quote unquote horror movie. It's not horror. I'm so sorry. It's not. It's hilarious.
Is this like that
it's-
stupid one, that the Jeepers Creepers one you were talking about that one time?
Oh my god, right. You haven't seen Jeepers. We have to watch Jeepers Creepers. Oh
It's-
my god.
I feel like you're building it up to be something that it's not gonna be.
No. Listen, it's the first one I thought was pretty good. The second one is my favorite for reasons. And I don't want to put your expectations up. It's not a good movie. Like, please. But it's just fun to watch.
Sure. Maybe
And
we'll
I wanna
have a
watch-
Halloween
and now-
marathon.
Oh my god, yes. We can watch Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2.
Oh, we have
And
to
Tremors.
watch both of them. Oh
Yes,
my
1 and 2.
God.
You're lucky I'm not making you watch 3. Wait, was there a third one?
I
Shit,
think we
haven't-
had this conversation before, and they did have a third one, but it was
Yes,
so
and-
critically badly received that no
Yeah.
one exists.
There's a third one, and there is a Jeepers Creepers Reborn that I also do not want to see. I just want to see 1 and 2.
Well, you've already seen it, so it's not going to change much for you.
Digital hasn't seen it either. All right, I've decided.
He does it
It's
too.
October.
He doesn't watch horror movies. He doesn't do anything horror
If
related.
anything, out of them, I feel like I'm the most oriented to watching horror stuff.
Yes, I can watch it with other people, but you have to be well aware that I'm going to shake the entire row while I'm there.
I mean, I found a lot of cool horror related, I don't know if you'd even consider them horror as much as they're just creepy, but like shows and stuff off of Netflix and Hulu and all the stuff, because I just find it interesting.
I have a friend who really likes like B horror, like very, very bad horror movies. And she'll drag me to watch them, and I've seen some pretty terrible ones.
Yeah, I would feel like I would just be cringing the whole time. Like,
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the whole thing. I was
I don't know if I
cringing.
can find that enjoyable though.
I don't even remember the
Depends
last
on
one
the
we watched.
cringe.
I
It was
mean,
like,
yeah.
dang, I want to look this one up because it was them in like this. The main characters go to this theme park, but the theme park turns out to be like a slaughterhouse, and they have to survive the slaughter, and it was so stupid.
I saw that in a comic once, but it was really well done.
What?
I've read it in a book once, and it was also very well done, but the movie was not.
I had a dream about it and it was terrible.
Wait, you dreamed about a slaughter at an amusement park?
No, but I have been having weird dreams lately.
Wow.
Okay, fair.
Regardless, though, I'll tell you what we're actually gonna talk about today.
Oh yeah, right. We actually have a topic that I don't know anything about.
I don't either.
Yes, you do.
Is it what we... Okay. Sure, I do. Yeah, totally.
You do. You really do. Okay, so today we're going to talk about DnD.
Okay, so we are.
Yay!
Like I said, it was between that or the horoscope / zodiac thing. But if we're doing that, I'm going all out and doing birth charts. So,
Fair enough.
but with D&D, I figured who better than Faye, because she has so much experience in this department.
Like I think 5-ish years now. I've been playing almost every Sunday.
One might say too much experience, actually.
That's not true.
There
I
are
would
people
say
with
true.
way more.
There are people who have had like 20+ years experience in this.
Exactly. That's a lot. Again, one might say too much. It is a thing. But yeah. So, one of the main things, funnily enough, that I had been thinking about is obviously we had done it wasn't even like a full campaign. It felt like a mini campaign essentially. Years ago.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long ago now.
I think it's been like 3 or 4 years now.
I feel like it was even longer than that. I feel like it was like close to 5. But,
Maybe.
and that was the one that even Sarah was a part of briefly for that one
For
session.
one session, yeah.
But it made her feel
Who's-
alive.
Who was that one? Who was the one that ran naked? Was that you, Sarah?
It may have been. I have no idea.
You guys ran naked? I was not there for it.
Yeah, somebody had to run naked out of a certain area. I don't think I was fully there for it either. but I had heard about it, and I was like,
I
what?
think the only thing I vaguely remember before I wasn't doing the sessions anymore was that they were at some kind of like monastery or church, and that's all she wrote, and then I blocked out.
Since you hi Lunar, since you mentioned what we're talking about, you should change the title.
Wow.
It's still blank.
But the blank is fun. It gets people to engage.
You're
Faye's taking over the stream already. She's like, I'm a professional
Don't make me make you smaller. I will do it.
No, God, no, not even small.
Anyway.
I was just pointing it out because that's what you did last time in the stream. You said it and then you changed the title.
I changed it after the VOD was already published so that people could watch it and knew what it was about. Did you not realize that that's what I did?
I did not. I thought it changed like right as you said it because you were typing it at one point.
Anyways, I'm getting back on topic just because Sarah didn't get back on topic last night. I'm going to talk about. So, what I was just bringing up is the last time that me and Sarah had played DnD was a while back. And I feel like at that specific time, I did not. Like, I knew obviously how to play because I was being walked through the process by like Gail at the time and everything. But even then, I was like, if you look at a character sheet, it is so confusing if you've never seen it before.
Yeah.
And all of the different like numbers and stuff, and especially because on that site it was all like the interactive things that you could type in, and so it was even more stuff to have to look at. But I was gonna say it because now that I've played Baldur's Gate 3, I feel like I understand it much better. And if I were to do a Dungeons and Dragons campaign now and make a whole new character now, I would be way more comfortable and know a lot more about how to play it because of that game.
Yeah,
that's why Sarah should get it and play it too once she gets a computer that won't melt. But it's just because, especially with all the dice rolls and everything, I feel like it's hard to keep track of what you're rolling and what you're taking into account. Versus like in Baldur's Gate, it like tells you all of the specific things.
Yeah. See, so I've been spoiled. I have never done a D&D in person where I had to do everything like on my own. I've always done it through Roll20. And Roll20 also does literally everything for you.
Yeah.
The thing with Roll20 that I don't like is that you have to pay money in order to unlock a lot of stuff. Like when I was making my current D&D character, I couldn't add like, oh, she's a swashbuckler and everything. I couldn't add her background of a sailor or anything. So that was annoying because I had already put that in and I was trying to level her up and I couldn't figure it out. And I ended up kind of messing up my character sheet from how I liked it. And so I was trying to fix it, and I just ended up giving up and be like, this is how it is now, I guess.
I think
it's also, I feel like if you don't have the knowledge to begin with, that's what makes it even more difficult to try and like quote unquote homebrew stuff.
Yeah. And Roll20, even though it is intuitive and it's easy-ish to learn, when you go in and blind, it's a lot.
Are you trying to fix the stream quiz?
I don't know what I can do to fix it.
I don't know, because on my end, it's not pausing that much, or at least it's buffering on my end.
Yeah, on my phone, it's not buffering.
It was buffering at the beginning. Try restarting your computer.
Don't say that.
Shitty has a good computer. That shouldn't be the issue.
Shitty, reset your internet.
Don't say that either. We're not trying to do that. I don't know. I mean, the most I can think is to do this. I might have to. Should I raw dog the music and just put on a personal playlist?
Raw dog. Why do you have to say it like that?
Because I don't know if it's like because I'm playing it through YouTube or something. It makes me wonder if I should like download these videos or something.
Honestly, that might be a good idea.
But then it's like, damn, that's a lot of videos downloaded.
You can go to Kevin McElroy's Spotify and just play that.
I mean, I could always just do iTunes and then have it specifically so it's not saved in the VOD.
That's true.
Well, if it keeps getting bad, tell me, and I will just shift it over. I will specifically get iTunes up just in case. But this is exactly why eventually Sarah needs to take over.
Well, when she gets a computer that doesn't combust.
No, I want her to do it now.
Oh, while it's
I want to see what it's like now.
I've already uninstalled Streamlabs because I needed space.
I'm not using Streamlabs, so there you go.
I'm not downloading OBS.
What, and you don't want to have to finagle all of this extra stuff?
No, not really. Not right now. Not when I have a computer that I open 2 programs at once. And actually, no, I open up my internet browser and suddenly Discord stops working. So.
Oof.
You know, yeah. It's fine. Okay, so another thing that I want to talk about. I don't know all of the characters that you've had, Faye. I know like you've talked about some of them, but I don't remember what all of them are and or if I've even heard about all of them. And considering you say you go all the time.
Oh yeah, I've played a lot though. Like off the top of my head, I've played multiple bards. I've played like 2 or 3 barbarians. I played like 2 clerics, 1 monk. I just made a fighter. I've never had a fighter before, and I just made a paladin. Those are the last 2 that I've never played before. But everything else, I had at least 1 character for. The one that stands out the most to me is it was my very first character, and it was a homebrew class. It wasn't any of the main classes. And Gail, who is my DM, she had 3 homebrew classes that she had specifically made, and why can't I remember her name though? Damn, I've made too many characters. But anyways, she was a nurse because we really needed a healer in this group. There was a lot of damage dealers, but we needed a healer. So I
it was like a straight up like nurse?
Yeah, I was like a combat nurse. So like soldier nurse kind of deal.
What was the story in this situation that you were just a combat nurse?
It's basically, so the world that we had was in a war, and it finally like calmed down, and my character was part of said war as a healer, and now I was trying to find a job in this new city called Vlagos, and yeah, it was me meeting up with the team who had a clinic that they ran for the city, and then there was like a king and a queen, and so the unique thing about this campaign is that the main antagonist was actually a player character who could not play at the same time as us. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so Gil had different sessions with just him, just to see.
So weird.
Yeah, so but he was the main antagonist, so their sessions were a lot shorter than she would with ours. So she would just ask him like, all right, what kind of things are you getting up to? And like she would give him like what she needed to happen, but he got to decide how it would happen. So he would be sneaking around doing all this nonsense BS, and then we would come in during our session and try to figure out what the hell is going on. So yeah,
sounds like a lot of that sounds so much fun though.
It was a lot of fun. He was a very great villain, and we wanted to kill him so many times. And then the last campaign, the last episode of that campaign, episode
It was a series.
Session. There you go. The last session of that campaign was a big fight between our characters and his leveled up a lot faster than ours. So he was a little bit more stronger than us, but we were in a group, so if I remember correctly, one of us was turned into a vampire. RIP. My character, she was a prophet for one of the goddesses, so I didn't die that campaign, thankfully. But I was really pissed off because I got a really cool weapon, and I was only able to use it once, and fucked up the roll, as I do.
No.
Wow.
I was so mad. I was like, Gail, I never got to use like the cool side of this weapon, and she's just like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to introduce it another time. I was so mad.
Well, you know, I mean, it's specifically to try and get you to play a different session, essentially.
Yeah. My current campaign that I'm playing it's starting in 2 weeks, is a Conquest Paladin, and I'm playing an Aasimar female called Xenia. Xenia. Z for short. And I know nothing too much about this campaign aside from that it's going to be very religion heavy, which is why I picked an Aasimar. Yeah, Aasimar, and Paladin. And I know nothing else. I don't know if we're going to be like the Spanish Inquisition. I don't know if we're going to be fighting the people. I know nothing.
Wait, the Spanish Inquisition?
As in, like,
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
No one expects the Aasimar for the Spanish Inquisition.
Well, I say that because I don't know if we're going to be the quote unquote good or bad guys in this session of like, well, if we're going to be religious, does that mean we're going to kill everybody who doesn't follow our religion? Is that the whole point? I know nothing about this campaign. I just made my character and I was like, all right, well, I'll figure it out as we go along.
I feel when you're the DM and you make all your characters fascist.
Right.
Speaking of fascism and Spanish Inquisition, wait for the segue. My question to both of you, I already think I kind of know, for Sarah at least, but because the theme for the stories of each like campaign can like vary drastically, what would you say your favorite setting is? Because I know that you can have more modern ones versus like obviously the fantasy setting.
Yeah.
And I feel like Sarah would probably be closer to On the High Seas, you maybe.
Yes. I do love a good pirate story. But I also I've only played an early one game, so. And that's, I think, more of a fantasy
even for one
setting.
that you want to play for in the future.
I would love to. When I was looking for games, there was a One Piece, like, text-based group, and I really wanted to join that one, but I don't think I got accepted into that one.
You had to get accepted into it?
There was a lot of people. I would love to do a One Piece based campaign. I think that would be so much fun if I had a group of people who also really liked One Piece and we could just do that. That would be so much fun because we could make our own lore.
Find them somewhere, just not here.
So speaking of high seas, I was supposed to have a very heavy high seas D&D session, and it's one of our players currently, and he was supposed to DM it. And he had this whole like story and everything, and he's the type of player that has like 5+ pages of backstory, and so he wanted all of us to write like a legit backstory, and he needed to know all of it. And I'm not the type to do that. My backstory is typically like a paragraph long, and I'm like, all right, here you go, everything else we can like figure it out. No,
wow.
He wanted like I have 3 pages worth of backstory on this one character who I absolutely adore now, and I'm like, damn.
That happens when you invest in their backstory.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, fuck, I really, really like this character, and it was Garnet.
You should introduce me to him.
No, so here's the problem. We got like 3 sessions in, and then he couldn't do it anymore for personal reasons, and he couldn't DM anymore for
no.
Yeah, so I never got to use this character, and I'm looking at Gail like, one day, Gail, you're gonna do a pirate one, and she's gonna come right back out.
Wow.
But to answer your previous question, I like high fantasy. I don't like anything of the real world leaking over. The real world. I don't want any of it.
I would probably really enjoy doing a modern into a fantasy, or a fantasy into a modern type thing. I think that would be a lot of fun.
That's the thing, though. I don't see. First of all, I don't see D&D ever crossing into a medium of let's have a slice of life campaign because I don't know how that would work. It
depends. I think
when I say like
the
real world and stuff, I don't necessarily mean obviously the real world. In my mind, like I think there's like fantasy genres, and then there's like more futuristic sci-fi genres, which can very drastically, obviously, depending on where you're going with it. But
There's modern fantasy too, though. Like, think Harry Potter, I guess, with just a little bit of modernization in there.
you can't really modernize futurism. That's not. Or I guess you can't really put it in the past either. It's like, but I know for one type of thing I've ever wanted to do was I wanted to see, not a zombie one, but I know those are things that also exist, but I wanted to see some kind of apocalyptic setting, like future apocalyptic one, and see what that would actually play out like. Like imagine Resident Evil or something.
Okay, yeah, zombies.
It doesn't have to be zombies.
There could be other things.
I feel like zombies themselves, because of how popular they are just in general, it's a very oversaturated market of like those kinds of stories.
Yeah.
I want something interesting.
I would be insufferable in a zombie
Just in a zombie.
And just, yeah, that too. Because I'm one of those, like, zombies are pointless and scientifically impossible. So if it had a magic element to it where it's like, then I could deal with it more, but...
That's not true. Have you seen Last of Us?
No.
Well, can't help you there.
How have you not seen The Last of Us?
I don't watch zombie stuff.
Well, no,
or
no,
play zombie
even like
stuff
game.
or anything
You've
like
never
that.
seen any gameplay of it either,
Nope.
and you don't know the story.
It's a fantastic story. Oh my god.
See, that's the
one
only
of the
reason I'm
most
surprised. I'm not
well-known
surprised about the zombie
stories.
thing. I'm more surprised because I feel like it was like a critically acclaimed story-wise.
I mean, I haven't, unless I really like a YouTuber and I will
Unless
watch
they're
any...
singing sea shanties, I don't care
I
about
promise you, almost any person that you watch that play games has played The Last of Us.
Probably.
Literally everybody has.
But have they played it in a form that I can watch it?
What form do you mean?
What is that?
Do you not like long form?
I like long form that I can easily pause. I don't like watching VODs on Twitch. I don't.
But
I
isn't
like.
that something you can pause?
It's complicated. I don't know how
What's
to describe
easily
it.
paused to you?
Twitch isn't a very intuitive thing in my opinion when it comes to trying to rewatch things. But like, I watch a lot of RT Game, for example, and a lot of his content is just these streams that have been edited down into videos, but they're still long form.
So you don't like watching the whole thing? You like watching it edited, abridged?
Yes. I'm ADHD. I need something to keep my attention.
To be fair, I'm very similar. I'll like when I watch something, I'll skip certain fights because I'm like, I want the story, not the fight.
It depends. Because if I like the gameplay aspect of it, it would be cool to see it, but also I understand the point of like, I'm not doing it, so why do I care?
I will say from watching just random Let's Plays, I have found my favorite games like Ni no Kuni or Undertale or stuff like that. So I'm not saying I
You
wouldn't
found
enjoy
Undertale
it.
from a Let's Play?
Yeah, from Jacksepticeye's Undertale Let's Play. That's how I found it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I think I did the same thing. I think I found it on a Let's Play.
And I fell in love with it. Because also, part of it is how the Let's Player also shows the story as well. Because Undertale, Jack did a lot of voice acting for it. Same with the person who I watched do Ni no Kuni or Skyward Sword. They did a lot of voice acting for it. And that helped me really get into it and really like it.
Well, that's because you also do voices.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes not the best, but you know, you still try.
I'm working on it, so.
I mean, I feel like a lot of games that I've specifically seen. I mean, that's kind of a funny thing though. I feel like I've seen a lot of like full gameplays of games from like even some creators that I've never watched anything from before, just because I was interested in the game. But then I watched the entire playthrough of the game, and then I'm like, now I want to play it, even though I know exactly how it goes and there's nothing I could change about it. But it's different when you're playing it.
It is different, because
that's how I felt about Infamous Second Son for a long time, even though I would never be able to play it because it's a PlayStation game.
think it'd be ported one day. That's how Ni no Kuni was. Ni no Kuni didn't get ported to PC or Switch for a while.
I'm sure Hide has illegal connections in the
Probably.
trade.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Already. Oh my gosh.
She said that she's surprised we didn't say horror setting. I played one horror campaign, and it's horror is really hard to do.
That's the other thing. How could you do a horror that's genuinely horror in a campaign?
You would be surprised if you have I think if you have a good DM who's really good at storytelling and good at setting an atmosphere.
Yeah.
I think it could be. It's kind of, I think, like reading a horror book.
Yeah, but I don't find those scary either.
But I love reading it because I love the idea of it. It's hard to explain reading good horror because I can't really play horror games. I can't really watch horror movies, but I always enjoy a good horror story.
Oh.
Like some of my favorite.
We just turned into villagers.
some of my favorite books like are ghost stories or are these just really dark, weird. Like some of my favorite fan fictions are also horror stuff. Like there was this one fanfic that I read that it wasn't barely anything to do with the original source material, but it was a group of people going into what is basically a haunted house and them experiencing all of these weird things happening, and they're like, oh, there's blood on the floor and there's stuff like this, and then as they progress throughout the story, it turns out that they're the ones who are causing it, and two of the people just go missing, and the last remaining person reunites with the people who originally entered the house, and so it's like they're stuck in a time loop, and it was so well written and it's so good. And it was like, that is like a true horror because you're constantly on the edge of your seat and you're constantly like, what's going to happen? What is the plot twist? What is happening here?
Well,
and
also,
it's just
I mean, at that point, what do you consider horror versus like a thriller?
I have never really understood the difference.
I feel like horror uses generally more scare tactic wise. At least when it comes to movies and like games and stuff, anything that has some kind of visual aspect, which makes me wonder like how that could be translated into a book form, because it's not like you can put a jump scare in a book. That's not how it works.
I guess for me, campaign wise, would be more in the thriller versus horror, because for me, horror is like the typical jump scares or the, I guess, gruesomeness of it. But even then, even like reading something that's gruesome, it doesn't give me horror, it just disgusts me. So I'm like, I guess a thriller campaign would probably make more sense than a horror one.
I think the only way that it would work well is similar to like how Soma's considered a horror, but it's more like a psychological horror. I feel like you can very easily delve into psychological topics within a story format that doesn't need any visual of any kind.
So, a short campaign that I had with another group of friends of mine was a psychological horror campaign where we went into this town, and the town had something weird going on with it, just random things that would happen, but nobody would like react to it. So we were like, okay. So we tried to leave the town, but then a thick fog like covered the area, so we couldn't
Silent
leave.
Hill.
Yeah, pretty much. So we had to turn back. But when we turned back, there was nobody in the village. Like everybody was gone, and we were like, "What the fuck's going on?" And so we went looking around, and we found absolutely nobody. So we try to leave again through a different way, like through the woods, and we find this big old mansion with
the McMansion.
The McMansion. We found the McMansion. And then we found like evidence of blood and evidence of like a murder going on, and we're like, uh-oh. I'm thinking we gotta go into this house, and we had to go into the house, and the house would shift every time. So anytime that we would go into the room and try to go back out, it would be a different area, and we were stuck in there for a long time. And the whole campaign was trying to get out of this house and figure out what was causing all of this. It was a really cool campaign.
So I did look up the entire difference between thriller and horror.
Go on.
Because I genuinely didn't know. Horror utilizes more horror's objective is to elicit a fear response, whether through disgust or terror. So it uses a lot more blood and jump scares and gore and all that stuff, while a thriller is more like story driven and more like what's gonna happen next.
So I would say you like more thriller related things.
I like more thriller related things, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I don't like, you could maybe translate gory horror into a form, but even then at that point, I feel like that's not my thing. I don't want it described.
I will say like stuff like what was I gonna say?
I don't know.
Stuff like what is it called? Until Dawn or Resident Evil 7 specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy the narrative of those games and the gameplay of it. But they have a lot of gory aspects as well, so they have a lot more genuine horror aspects.
I feel like they're a bit of both because of how heavily it leans into the narrative.
Yeah.
Especially because you're following each individual person and all of their like specific choices.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is for the earlier Resident Evil games or with Resident Evil Village, but I know with Resident Evil 7, one of the cool parts of it was that you genuinely were constantly kept updated with this one character who was on your side and was like, we're gonna get a cure for this and we're gonna help fix this. But then you also learned about the entire infection that was going on anyways, and there was just this constant like, oh, okay, it made you grow sympathetic towards the villains, and I thought that was really cool because it made you be like, okay, these aren't bad people necessarily, but they're being made to do bad things.
I want to be a villain.
You would
fit the villain vibe.
To be fair,
well.
I do too. Whenever
I
we
feel
would
like I'd be a good villain.
I think you'd be a great villain.
Oh yeah, you would be a good villain. You would be like the stereotypical gay villain though.
That's every villain, Sarah.
That's true. That is
literally
true.
all of the villains you can think of.
I can't be a villain. I literally cannot do it.
Yes, we know. We
Shut
know,
up!
Faye, from our bad run in Baldur's Gate where you
I'm
feel
so
bad doing anything.
I'm so of the guilt that I feel anytime I hurt somebody. I hate it.
I would love to play a villain.
I feel like Sarah would be the one that specifically has like top hat, Lil Kane, twirling mustache.
I would break into song at every opportunity.
Very
I like
musical.
my monologue.
Everyone
my
wants her to
monologue
stop. Like, but she won't. She
I
will
would
keep
be.
going.
I'm Doofenshmirtz.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, you're Doofenshmirtz.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
That means you're gonna get thwarted by a mammal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is it most people? Aren't most people thwarted by mammals?
Not everyone. Some people are thwarted by other beings. Actually, that's not true. You would be thwarted by a spider. That's all it would take to ruin you.
Yeah, that's true. Just throw a big old spider at you.
But also, everyone already says I'm evil, so I feel like I would just play the part really well.
Whenever this is gonna sound cringy to outsiders, Faye will understand where I'm coming from, though.
Oh boy.
When me and my friends had a Minecraft server, we would kind of weave these little stories that we never really acted out in anything. And for the last little server that we did, because we don't do it anymore, I was the quote-unquote villain of the story because I was this like I was a ringleader basically of a circus. I had an entire idea, and I would basically be using the circus to in order to keep it running. I would use the circus goers as like fuel, so their laughter and everything. Like think of kind of Monsters Inc., where their laughter or their enjoyment would fuel something or other. I never figured out the exact details of it, but one of the things was, yeah, it would fuel me. And one of the things is we had a character. We had a person whose character was like a robot type of thing, and one of the things that we agreed that I would do would be take over the robot and make the robot do our bidding. And it was always kind of a fun thing with like, I get to be the evil one. And I always enjoyed that.
Faye can't do that. Faye can't enjoy it.
I never enjoy it. I try my
That's
best,
the thing, though.
and I
She
can't.
acts so excited. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I get to be evil, haha!" And then the minute like you ask her to steal something, she's like, "But what if it hurts their feelings?" And it's like so stupid.
I just feel guilty. I don't know what's wrong with me. I want to be evil. I just can't do it.
It's eat or be eaten. I don't know what you expect in this
I
world.
guess I'm gonna get eaten then.
You gotta get into the role, Faye. Like, you gotta be like, oh, this orphan wants like a piece of bread. No, fuck you. I'm gonna take it for myself.
No,
you gotta get into it.
I want everyone to clip that out of
What would the Blade
context.
think if you were giving orphans bread?
Somebody
What's
clip
your orphan bread scenario, Faye?
that. I don't know.
In my mind, that's Sarah's villain origin story. An orphan asks her for bread, she says, "Fuck you," and then she's a villain for the rest of the story.
That's her origin story.
That's just all it took.
My bread? No, this is
My
my
bread from my insane asylum.
Yeah.
How dare you?
You know that meme that's going around Instagram was like, you wouldn't last second in the asylum where I grew up, that from the Taylor Swift song.
Oh,
that's just me. The insane asylum is just me holding a piece of bread in an alleyway.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We just gotta find your origin story, fam. That's all it takes.
I don't think I have one, guys.
What would turn you evil?
Oh, I thought you were about to say what would turn you on. I was like,
What would
wow.
turn you on? See, so I had a post come by on Instagram that basically said that the characters and the people that I admire most are like things that I wish I could be but can't. And I'm like, that makes perfect sense. I love evil characters. I love villains. They're my favorite characters. And a lot of my friends are like Quiz, being mean
Wow.
and slightly evil, and I admire them so much. And because I can't be that. I can't be evil.
So what I'm hearing is Faye doesn't admire me because I'm not mean.
You're just adorable.
Oh.
But also you don't like soup, which confuses
I'm
me.
gonna vomit.
I'm evil in different ways.
The non-eating soup ways.
I'm evil in the psychological way, where I just torture you with
I'm evil
random
in the
facts
thriller
about
way.
myself.
You never know what I'm gonna do next.
You can steal a piece of bread from an orphan maid. No, I cannot.
You could try.
Don't be a little bitch.
Which, speaking of, oh my gosh, I remember. I'm calling it back. But when we did our campaign, however long ago, and I was mean to that little child. Everyone held it against me, and I was like, what do you expect me to be?
Yeah, no, especially you. You don't care about children at all.
Listen, Theo was not meant to care about children. Theo has his own problems going on. But yeah, that was, I swear. You have to be mean to a child once in order to unlock your evil potential. So, Faye, get on that.
So, you
haven't run into the right child to be mean to, I think, Faye.
Yeah, no,
Some children are mean and they need to be like, just be like, excuse me, little bitch.
Yeah, Sarah bit me.
I did.
That's my origin story.
No. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Do I need to bite you on the back too?
You're not a child anymore. I'll just punch you in the face.
She's child-shaped. She can still pass for one at a glance.
Do I need to crawl on my knees and everything? Like,
No,
would
let's
that
not
help?
go that
Wait
far.
Wait a second.
Let's not go that far.
You're an adult. Let's not
it would make me smaller.
It would, but it would also make you look more feral and have the cops more likely to be called on you if you were to do that in a random like Chili's parking lot.
Would.
I have a report about a feral Florida woman.
She's on the floor. She's gnashing her teeth. She's saying, "I'm gonna get you," and she's just crawling really slowly.
Yes, hello?
It's okay. If that's your origin story, I think it would make sense. Being bit in a Chili's parking lot by Sarah on all fours. She can only reach her ankle though.
Hey, I can reach a little higher.
We're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna go to how
the
high.
knee.
So, back on D&D and not villain origin story.
I mean, that is part of D&D.
Just a little bit, I guess. I I know Sarah just recently got into a campaign, but if you were to make another character, what class and race would you pick?
I've already made one.
Oh, you already made one for a non-existing campaign.
I literally have one that I wanted to use so badly, but I've never had a campaign after that I was like, sure.
I have like including the one I'm using now, I have 3 characters.
And probably
2
more that she could recycle into being D&D characters.
Oh, I could absolutely. That could be fun. That could be a fun character thing where just to turn all of my current characters into D&D characters. That could be fun.
What could be more fun?
What could be more fun? I think there's a YouTube channel and or something else that takes like very famous characters that already exist and they make them into D&D characters, and I love them. There's like, you can think of anybody and they'll be like, yeah, we can make that.
Hold on, let me see. I think from what I remember, if I remember correctly, the one that I specifically wanted was, I forget if I made him a sorcerer or not. He was gonna be some kind of magic person. I made a whole backstory for him. You know how you said you had to write like 3 pages of backstory? That's basically what I did in my mind for this character. And he was going to be a part of a changeling cult in an island archipelago that was specifically made to worship these cosmic beings at the far ends of the universe that were slowly consuming it from the outside in until there was nothing left. And he was specifically born under a weird ritual mixed with specific date that aligned with either the solstice or a different kind of cosmic event that made more than just like the specific planets in that system align. And because of it, he had a connection directly to one of the cosmic beings, like this dark star entity that is consuming the entirety of the universe. And so that was like the quote-unquote haunted background that I was going for, where he's constantly getting like visions and stuff related to how the impending doom is essentially coming all the time. And I made him specifically, it was going to be a changeling cult because the way that they present themselves is less humanoid and more like abstract celestial concept. And that's what the people of that specific place look like. And so him specifically, because he was kind of forced into this like weird born of the dark star role in the cult, he fled it because he didn't want to be a part of it, but he's constantly having that go with him because that's just part of how he was designed to be, essentially. It was a whole thing. Trust me.
That's for a very specific campaign, though.
Or any campaign that I just plop him in. Listen.
I always make characters for the campaign. I do have a habit of creating characters like on the side just because it's fun, but when a campaign is told to me, I'm like, oh, this character wouldn't fit in this campaign, I have to make a new character.
Yeah, I did specifically ask my DM. I was like, here's the character idea I have, will it fit for the campaign that you're doing? And he said, yeah, it'll work.
Well, also
like, okay.
it depends, especially when it comes to like whatever the DM's story is and how much they want to reveal about it, because that could also help you if you're making a character specifically for it.
Yeah, I don't know anything what's going on in my current campaign.
But you know, like the general vibe, right? Even before.
Kind of, but not really.
Oh.
I know there's a lot of gnomes.
There you go, make a gnome.
Gnomes, and there's crystals, which are up my alley.
Make a gnome that eats crystals. Rock candy specifically.
No, it's my pirate who is gonna try and steal a lot of crystals and already died trying to steal some crystals, so.
Oh god.
But she's fine. It's okay.
Are you sure?
Listen, I was the only one who was actively trying to roleplay in the group. And so I'm like, I'm gonna start doing some weird shit without like being that much of a nuisance.
That's my question. Okay, I have a question actually for both of you. In your context of having played different stuff before, what do you consider like role playing versus just being a normal person and acting through the character's actions and dialogue?
So for me specifically, I'm not very good at role playing yet. I think I still feel very self-conscious. So I know that I'm like normal person acting. So I will always say, oh, my character says this or my character does that, versus I had the friends that I play with who are much more experienced than I am will just jump into the character and just be like, oh, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna do this. And then if they're in a conversation, they don't say my character says this. They'll just say what it is, and we'll know that it's in character. So I think that's the difference for me. We're like,
I feel like Sarah's the one that just
things.
jumps in.
I jump in. I will say it
that.
depends on the situation, I think, because sometimes we'll say, oh, Amelia, my character does this, my character does that, but oftentimes if we're in a scenario where we're like acting with other characters or we're acting with the GM in whatever way, I'll be like, I do this, and I'll try and talk like my character talks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think a lot of, especially when it comes to like describing actions and stuff, it's not like you can do that in character as much. It's more just describing what's gonna happen.
I'm a very descriptive person, as is.
One might
and,
say
like,
too much.
Well, but I got on the first fight that we had of our campaign, I got the finishing blow, and I got to describe how I did it, and I was able to describe like this little scene where my character was able to shoot right between the eyes of the troll, and it was very nice. It was very fun. And that part of me makes me want to be a DM more than anything, but I need more experience actually playing before I can be a DM.
I've thought about that too. Because I like making stories up and making people panic. So, but that's the thing. I would
be terrified if you were my DM.
I would be the
terrified.
evil mastermind DM.
I would make your life hell if you were my DM.
Because it would be funny. I mean, at the same time, in my mind, because of how I played it as a bard that was just trying to like seduce and or flirt with people to make them like me, I like that side of DnD specifically because it makes people do really random bullshit that just sometimes works, and I think that's funny. So I would be someone that would welcome that.
I think you'd be a really great DM, but I also think you'd cause a lot of panic to your players.
I want to get a bunch of people into a boss fight and have them try and do stuff, and I want it to not work. And I want to see the fear in their eyes. That's my dream.
Question, Faye.
Yes.
Have you ever been in a campaign where they use tarot cards?
Yes, actually. So my DM, Gail, she believes in, if she doesn't know where she wants a campaign to go, she'll draw tarot cards and use them as inspiration as to how the campaign is going to go that night.
Oh, see, I remember a podcast I listened to with my dad, who it was kind of a D&D, but it wasn't like your average D&D podcast. I think it was called Uncharted. I can't remember though.
Isn't that a game?
But it was said, I think so. So that's why I'm like, maybe that's not right. But it was based in a modern setting, but it was based around the circus, and how people in the circus had these different abilities. And so there was one person, and there were like these shadow beings that's the reason they were there. They had these abilities was to keep these shadow people at bay. And, so like there was the acrobatus who just was really good at dexterity, basically. There was someone who could talk to animals. There was the clown. The entire purpose of the clown was that he could make his body smaller because he could replace his bones with the shadows and contain the shadows.
What?
So it's confusing, but it's cool. And then there's the ringleader who can make people do stuff with just the power of their voice. But if they use it for reasons that are not well-intentioned, or they use it for personal use, then they create shadows within people. And so there's a lot of stuff like that, and I thought it was really, really cool from a story perspective. But they didn't use die. They didn't use dice. They used tarot cards for any decision making. And they had like this online tarot card drawing thing where it was just this giant big spread, I guess, and they just drew random cards. And I thought that was such a cool way of doing it, because then they could also hold on to the cards and say like, okay, you got this insight, you can use that at a later date for something. And that was just, would really love to do something like that. I think that would be so cool.
But then the issue that also comes with interpretation of cards.
Well, that was a part of it, is that you shouldn't just, it's up to the DM how they interpret it.
And also, I feel like I wonder how that would be done. Would it just be like a story narrative driven device, or would it be everything down to like whether or not your attacks miss?
I don't actually know. I can't remember how they handled any fights, because I can't remember what fights there were. Other than like the last thing where I don't remember. I can't remember. That's the thing. I remember how the last event went, because it was like this baseball game, and there was like this big shadow event happening, and so they were using the baseball game to get enough like positive energy or whatever in order to stop it. But I can't remember exactly. Because the ringleader was an announcer for the baseball game, so it was like, well, we can use this, and so.
I mean, okay.
So,
it does sound fun from a story building perspective, especially when it comes to like coming up with how the story is going to flow, or like possibly even an enemy or a new person that's coming into a thing to just like use tarot cards. I would just be worried about trying to spin them on the fly, but I guess I do that already with readings.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the point of readings, isn't it?
Well, if you're doing it for someone, then yes. But if like you're just doing it for yourself, you have time to like sit with it and be like, I wonder what that means. But don't worry.
Yeah, that's me with the move right now. Yeah.
Sitting with it or not having time at all?
No, sitting with what I read. Because I thought I meant one thing, and now with everything that's come to light, I'm like, I meant something else actually.
Which, speaking of, I gave Sarah tarot cards.
He did.
I technically gave her my original deck, so it's imbued with all of my hatred.
Oh no.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
And
sorry about that.
I mean, the funny part is you're actually supposed to like cleanse them before you use them from someone else, but you know what? I'm not going to get into that.
I don't know how to cleanse them.
You need to get some sage.
It can revolve around crystals too.
Crystals,
but
I have crystals.
The funny part is that's one of the episodes that we wanted to do. We want to do like a tarot reading episode. And I have this other deck. Do you have a tarot deck, Faye?
I do.
Is it a good one? Or is it knowing you? Okay, in my mind, here's what I imagine. I imagine you would get a really pretty tarot deck that has all these really cute and beautiful designs, but you know not at all how to read it.
I still have to use the book to basically figure out exactly what it's supposed to mean. Like, it's not off the top of my head. But yes, I think mine are very pretty. It is the Nightmare Before Christmas one. The artwork is gorgeous.
It all makes sense.
It's gorgeous, okay?
I have a deck somewhere that I got from Books A Million.
Whenever we go out again to do our girls trip, which, God, I really wanted to do one this year. I just don't know if I would be able to afford it. But if we ever do another girls trip, I'll bring it so that you can see how pretty it is.
You know, we could do
A quiz is involved in the girls trip.
We could always
quiz is always
do
involved in the girls trip.
a girls trip to nowhere. Like, who said it has to be expensive?
I mean, it doesn't have, like, the last trip we did wasn't that expensive.
It's true, but there was that mirror in the bathroom, in the shower.
So I was thinking about that mirror the other day, and I really was wondering why it was in there. And apparently it's for shaving. It's like when you're shaving.
Body mirror.
Yeah, people who shave certain areas need to see. So
we're gonna take a break. We're gonna take a break really quick.
We'll take a break there.
We'll be right back in like 5-6 minutes.
Isn't that the motto of this podcast, though?
What, this is so stupid?
Yeah.
Okay, well, hello everyone. Ta-da!
Oh, it's me. I'm here again.
She didn't leave. I know. We're
I
all
never
surprised. We're all surprised.
It would have been great is if I had left and Kester was there instead.
You know, I'll make a note of that for a future episode. We'll have a part 1 and then a part 2 that'll specifically have different people. Okay.
It's
But actually, I had a very easy question. Or at least in theory, it's easy. What are both of y'all's favorite classes?
Rogue.
Really?
Yeah, Rogue is my favorite.
I would not have pinned you for a rogue person. I would have pinned you falling in love with a rogue.
Yeah.
Astarian. But
Stop.
I don't know. You're not very sneaky.
That's the thing. I like very sneaky characters. I like playing a character that is in the shadows. And I usually play long range attack. So, Rogue is my favorite. I do really, really like Monk. Like, really love Monk. I don't, and Druid. I think Druid is the only magic class that I would really, really like to play.
Do you hate magic stuff?
Yeah.
Why? Because the spell
I feel
slots?
like not spell slots so much as I get overwhelmed easily, and when I play like a wizard or warlock where I have to like keep tabs of all of my spells, I just don't do well versus knowing just to hit something.
When it comes to like actual just having a character sheet with all your spells, that makes sense though. Because I feel like it's very hard to gauge just by looking at it at a glance what it's gonna do.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a lot of like situational spells versus like just attack spells, and how to like utilize both of them. I just don't like the task of doing all that. I just want to hit things.
Wow, you sound more and more like Kester every day.
I have known her for a long time. She has influenced a lot of my decisions.
What about you, Sarah?
A bit stereotypically, but Bard is definitely one of my favorites.
Of course it is.
I'm a musician. I don't know what you expect from me.
I mean, I am too, but I don't like the spells that bards get.
Well, I was gonna say the other one I like is Sorcerer.
That's the thing, though. I feel like Bard very much is just the gateway character for people in general because of how relatively easy it is to do. That and like, what is it? Not a fighter.
Barbarian?
Barbarian. That's what it is. Because that one's just, you hit.
You hit.
In contrast to what Faye was saying about how she doesn't like to keep track of the things, I like keeping track of things. I have a lot of fun with it, and I have a lot of fun with situational spells too.
Situationships.
Like, I love looking at my character sheet and being like, what can I do? Because I want to make this as chaotic as possible, sort of deal. Or what can my character do in this situation? Like,
you
when the
should
first
be a
thing
wild
I did,
magic sorcerer.
that is one of my characters. I was debating whether or not I wanted to be a storm sorcerer or a wild magic sorcerer, and more and more I'm leaning towards wild magic because I think that would be so much fun.
I had a campaign that I played where I was a wild magic sorcerer. I was a twin, and I'm not allowed to be a wild magic sorcerer anymore because my luck is very bad. It's very bad. I caused a lot of deaths and a lot of explosions and a lot of just things that should have been easy to handle were not easy to handle.
Yeah, but that's part of the fun of it. That's what you sign up for when you play a wild magic sorcerer.
Yeah, I mean, it is what you sign up for, but also you're supposed to have some times where like it benefits you.
I forgot.
I think I had it maybe one time in that whole campaign.
Forgot the music, didn't you?
No. Oh well.
It's fine.
It can start now. It's only been a few minutes.
It's fine.
But yeah, I'm not allowed to play a wild magic sorcerer anymore, and I understand why.
I mean, I feel there are was that what George did? Not sorcerer, but barbarian.
No, he did the wild magic barbarian.
See, okay. That I feel like is less safe. Because you're a melee. And I feel like that has a lot more chance to backfire tremendously on you.
So, from what I understand it, though, they don't have a lot of like bad things that happen to them.
The sorcerers can.
No. The sorcerers, yes, but the barbarian wild magic one. Give me a second. I
wonder if that's
to
counteract the whole because they have to get in melee range.
Yeah. So wild surges for barbarians, they only have like 8 effects that'll happen to them versus a sorcerer who has. If you do the normal one, I believe there's over 20, and if you do a homebrew one, there's hundreds. But from what I'm reading, there doesn't seem to be a lot of like bad things to happen to barbarians versus a sorcerer.
Hi, Hide. If
Hi,
you
Hide.
were a D&D character, what class would you be?
We already know Lunar would be a bard. I think Shinny would be a druid again.
That's the funny part. I don't even know. Well, I don't actually know. I think Shinny would not be a druid again because she hated it when we called her Bear Queen.
Yeah, but that's only because we called her Bear Queen. Otherwise, I think she likes the class.
That's the thing, though. I feel like druids specifically, very much so, depends more on what you subclass into.
Yeah.
That changes like your entire gameplay.
I mean, to be fair, so does anything. If you go down any subclass of any of them, it changes a lot of your gameplay.
What's the class where it's like a science, where the tech one? Artificer. Andrew, you'd be a artificer.
So versus, because you asked like what my favorite class was. What class would you be? Because if it
like
was
as an
if it's
actual
that
person,
yeah, like
Sarah's
as
a
me, I'm a
I'm
bard.
absolutely a
Sarah's
bard.
bard.
I'm also absolutely a bard. I'm right there with you, Sarah.
Hold on.
There's no way I could be anything else.
Let me check. I'm not smart enough to be a wizard.
So you're not going to be a wizard, and you're not an artificer.
I would
Understand?
want.
I could see him being a warlock, honestly.
I can see him a warlock
No,
or
I
a
would
sorcerer.
probably be a warlock. I wouldn't
Yeah.
inherit
Yeah.
this power. I would be like, I'm getting it for myself.
I'm gonna make a deal with the devil, and I'm gonna get this power.
Because
I can
paladins
see
too.
Hide being a rogue.
Paladins too oathy.
I can see Hide being a rogue.
Specifically because he called it thief.
Right? He called it a. He knows what he is.
I mean, generally speaking, I would definitely just be more drawn to magic stuff because I find that more fun. I feel like there's more variety. But at the same time, when I'm playing paladins, it's easy to just, divine smite over and over again.
Oh God,
But
yeah.
that
Paladins,
single target, if you could divine
Yeah.
smite multiple people, that would be a different problem. But I enjoy being tanky, except when it doesn't work for me.
I enjoy dating tanky people,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
but I don't think I would want to be tanky.
I know I'm not.
Every day I wonder when I'm gonna strangle you.
When you're gonna what?
Nothing. Anyways,
He makes death threats to me constantly. It's okay.
I've played.
It's
I
normal.
think I've played, or at least I've looked into specifically every single magic class. And generally speaking, I think sorcerer is probably the most fun to me. But that's just because of the sorcerer points. And with warlock, I didn't mind warlock, but the juxtaposition of having like really high spells, but only like 3 max, if you're lucky, was kind of weird. It was literally a game of Eldritch Blast. But I didn't mind
Blast.
it. But also with the warlock stuff, you can be like a melee fighter versus an actual spellcaster with some of the subclasses you can do. So I like that there's variety in it, versus with sorcerer, no matter what, you're going to be casting spells. The only thing is, what are you going to be good at casting? But you know, it's fine.
No.
Shinny, I don't think you're a barbarian.
I've wanted to play an artificer, but I'm probably more.
I know what Shinny is.
What is Shinny?
Shinny's a monk.
Shinny
Shinny is doing the backflips and the handstand 360 top spin by herself. She's using those key points
all over again.
Listen, and hey, it works the exact same way as a fighter in the sense of you just punch. You really just punch.
You just punch.
And you punch a lot, and you know what? It hurts. I could see it. Listen, Shinny, just because you might not be able to see it now, I can convince you.
Nah, Shinny hitting the spinning bird kick.
And Hide, see, here's the thing. Hide says he would be a rogue. In real life, maybe. But what I see him as,
Oh god.
he is one of the patrons that you pledged to as a warlock.
No.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And he's like one that gives you like terrifying beauty and all of this stuff, but secretly you can murder someone by just looking at them. And that's just how I see it. Like, you would be the people that... You'd be the person that someone falls in love with their patron, and then you say, "You're nothing to me," and you cast them aside, and they die.
Hide would cast me aside.
Either
I'm not
that,
good enough.
He already cast us aside.
or Hide is someone who was there for one divine act somehow, and now everyone treats him like a god.
He's a cleric who used his one wish, and everyone thinks that he's actually God.
Probably.
That's what it is. It's okay, Hide. We know your true intentions. But yeah, I mean, overall...
Oh my god, that would be Kester too. Kester is one of the patrons.
No, but she would just be called the manager.
She'd just be called the manager.
And she wouldn't even really give you power. She would just organize your life. Like,
Yeah.
Just
and
be
you'd be
like,
like,
oh,
"Thank you,
damn,
manager."
She'll organize every other patron and be like, okay, yeah, I think you'd fit under this one.
She's like the person you call specifically.
It's like when you summon something, it's just Kester, and it's like, where can I direct your summon?
Or it's like, do you really want to summon this? Like,
Are you sure? Your personality doesn't seem right for this.
Can I get you to sign here and here just to make sure we know what we're getting into?
I'm not sure the AdSense covers this. So, but you know, I mean, I do see the healer in me says I want to be a cleric, but cleric is so annoying to play as specifically, because
Yeah,
I feel
cleric is
like
annoying
you're
to play
just buffing people and you're
Yeah.
just healing people, unless you're like specifically like a vengeance or like trying to be the war one where you attack people and like
I
bash their skull in.
will say that they do have some of my favorite spells, which is oh shoot, what was it called? The one where it's an AoE that surrounds them, and they summon creatures to attack that for them. They have a lot of summoning things that I really like.
That's why you like it, because you like summoners.
Shut up, I do. If
That's why I'm
there was a
surprised you
summoner
don't
class-
like some of the like magic classes, because they do summoning in that too.
Yeah, but like it usually is concentration, so I can only summon one thing at a time.
Small derail, but Faye, have you ever played Wizard 101?
Oh God.
No, I've never played.
You might like it.
What is? Isn't that a?
It's a MMO.
Yeah, I thought so. I think I had started it.
Hide has feelings about this game.
Throw that game out. It's dead, gone, finished.
It's not bad of a game.
Hide, did you get your account hacked on Wizard 101? Is that where this is going?
Yeah, so I did play it and I actually hated it.
Why?
I just didn't really like the graphics.
Okay, graphics aside.
No,
So I
graphics
will
play a
admit-
good part. Are you kidding me? Imagine
Graphics play
us
a
trying
great
to
part.
get them into VFK, Sarah.
I need my game to be pretty, man.
Listen, I'm more gameplay oriented, so I didn't understand it. I just remember in Wizard 101, I had a harem when I
Everyone
was a
did.
kid. Then when I got older and actually understood, I was like, why did I buy all these clothes? Because they don't actually help me. But I thought they were pretty.
It's also just people in general. That has nothing to do with like being a kid. I buy clothes that don't do anything because they look nice.
Yeah.
See, Hide, you are a snob, but
Yeah, he
just
is.
because you're a snob that
I
downloads things illegally.
That
I
too,
think Wizard
but-
101 has a charming kind of thing, but it's also nostalgia for me, so.
I think Wizard 101 has a very specific vibe of like early 2000s/90s game.
They're coming out with a prequel game. That's a story-driven game,
Does it look the same?
as far as I know, yes.
Then no one's gonna want to play it.
Yeah, no thanks.
You'd be
It needs to
surprised.
look. It needs to look as good as Final Fantasy 14 for me to play it.
Girl.
Yeah,
No.
no, I'm that picky. I can't do it.
No. Don't bring Final Fantasy into this. Stop.
not?
It's a dead game. Give it up.
It is not a dead game. It's the most popular RPG right now.
Yeah, but I feel like, see, here's what I get confused when I see like pictures of Monster Hunter versus like Final Fantasy, because they look very, very similar to me. Specifically, or just like any MMO, I feel like I find not like say World of Warcraft, because I feel like that's a very specific one, but I feel like Final Fantasy blends in with a lot of what modern stuff is in the MMO scene, and it could just be that they copied it off of Final Fantasy, but regardless, it all blends in together to me to be like one conglomerate. But yeah, it's fine.
I want you to be there when I eventually play Ni no Kuni on stream, Faye.
Yeah,
Because-
absolutely. I think that's one of Chester's favorite games.
The Wrath of the White Witch or Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom.
I'm not sure which one, but I know
Kester
she
can
loves Ni
play
no Kuni.
games.
Stop!
Is
This is before
Is
she
it
got
because it has the word
before she
Kuni
was-
in it?
sick. So Kuni's name came from Ni no Kuni.
I need to talk to Kester about Ni no Kuni.
No,
now,
I
because
think
she really
Kuni
loves
came
it.
before. I think,
But you
I think
think
the
that, but it's
game is
wrong.
inspired off of Kester's
Kuni-
dog.
yeah.
But specifically because Ni no Kuni has some of their cutscenes are literally Studio Ghibli animations. So
Yeah, that's why she loved it so much.
yeah, it's also just a really good story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Kester would be a great person for you to talk to about that, but I want to watch you play it. I'm 100% there.
It's so good.
I didn't
It
get-
has
I
the
didn't get to
creature
watch
collecting
Kester play it.
aspect. It has the creature collecting aspect that Pokemon has, and so it's just like a perfect mix for me.
Is that like Kester's favorite game? Or is it
I
just
don't know
a
if
game
it's-
she really likes?
I'm not sure if it's her favorite game, but it could be.
Hmm.
She's sleeping right now, so I can't ask.
Wake up, Kester!
I'll add her in our Discord server and be like, hey, I heard you like Ni no Kuni.
Because that was one of the topics that I had for a different podcast episode. I wanted to do everyone's favorite games. Because I feel like
I
if
can
you
go
get
on and on about
everyone's
it.
favorite games, you can, if you find that specific interest for someone, they can rant about it for a very
For a long time.
Especially Sarah,
Yes.
she can rant about anything, but especially
Yes.
something she really likes.
I can't.
Yes.
I wouldn't be able to pick a favorite game. There's so many fantastic games out there.
I don't care, pick one.
I can't. Nostalgia-wise, probably Kingdom Hearts.
That's fine.
Even though it's convoluted as. Well,
Yeah, but you
But
can
it
still
was
enjoy
such a-
it even if it
and
has
more
flaws of any
specifically,
kind.
Kingdom Hearts 2. It was I think is one of my favorites, and I think I could still go back and just play it out of sheer love of it.
Ni no Kuni is very story driven, but it has other aspects to it that's really nice. I'll explain it on the other pod
It's
episode.
true. That time I want to get more than just one guest.
I was
Maybe
gonna
we
say
can kidnap a caster. Maybe.
we can kidnap a caster, a me, and maybe a Shinny
Maybe Hide, if we're lucky.
if we're lucky.
Hide him under the desk.
If Hide deems us worthy.
We're never worthy.
I know.
Hide, we have your PNG and everything. Why won't you come home? Please.
Believe.
Meanwhile, Shinny's like, you call that a PNG for Hide? Have you seen
I
it,
think
Faye?
it's so.
No, I don't think so.
Look in
You
the
can't say-
PNG chat. Just don't tell what it is.
Yeah, don't say
If
anything.
you scroll up, it's past what Sarah sent initially for the art thing. It's
Okay.
below Shinny.
It's the lotion. Oh. Oh. You know.
Tell me
Okay.
we're wrong.
Okay.
Does that not fit Hide?
You know. It do. It do. That's all I'm gonna say. It fits perfectly, actually.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And that's all
I
we
said
need.
it. I was like, "What about this?" And Quince was like, "Really?"
I never even seen that rendition of that because I'm pretty sure that's from you know where. Unless you don't know.
You don't have to know anything.
It'll be fine. Anyways, but with that in mind, we'll end the episode now. So thank you everyone for coming and stopping by. Even though we derailed off topic a lot, but that's the point of the pod.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a fair deal about D&D anyways, so.
It's true. And look, I can make Faye even smaller.
Why?
Just for the end.
Why? I'm itty. I'm already itty bitty. He
There we
said
go.
I'm worried now.
There's Faye.
Wait, where am I going?
So, thank you all for showing up.
Oh, wait, look, it's my actual size.
Hopefully, we will also
You're
have...
taller than me.
We will have another episode this upcoming Sunday. And I don't know what the topic's gonna be. We never know what the topic's gonna be by the time we
yeah, I
actually
guess
do it.
we will.
Do we? Do we know what the topic? Do you know what the topic? Do you want to?
No, I don't know the topic. I'm just thinking about plans for next.
Oh, right. See, we didn't know if Sarah was gonna be here this week, and now she might actually not be here next week.
I think I will be. I think that's.
It'll be
I think
fine.
I will be by 7 at least. Yes.
It'll be fine. And so, yeah. And I'll probably stream something on Wednesday. I'll probably just do the Sisterhood. The Cosmic
The traveling
Wheel.
plan?
No, plants.
Pants?
Sisterhood
I
of the
said
Traveling
pants.
Plants.
I said pants!
But anyways, yeah.
I
So-
definitely won't be there for that. So.
That's okay. I understand. No one loves me. That
I'm
means I have to
moving.
read a lot more. But it'll be fine. So yeah. Thank you all for watching. Faye's gonna go off to her mother planet, and we'll
Yeah.
never see her again.
Wait, no. Oh no. There we go. I'll see you
Why did you move us down in the process?
I didn't do it on purpose. Goodbye.
Bye.
Know how I did it to me. Where even is she? I don't even know where she is. Hold on. Wait, give me a second. Not only are you lost, the entirety of everyone is lost. Where? Oh, I found you. Here, no, I want to show you. I want to show you exactly what you're seeing. What I'm seeing. What we're all seeing. No, that's not what I want. No, give me a second. No. Yes. Shh. You can't hear me at all, guys. I promise. You can't hear me at all. I totally didn't forget to mute my mic. Goodbye.